Hi, Ryan Murphy here with P3 Kinesiology. I'm here to show you a shoulder and arm workout. Starting with a shoulder warm-up, this is called shoulder cars, controlled articular rotations. I'm currently using a TheraBand, but that could be a yoga strap or an elastic band of some other sort, or even like a wooden dowel or a broomstick. And so from here, after getting into a little bit of the all the way around, then starting to just pull the arms apart, pull the band apart. I call these pull aparts. And then we add a little tricep, bicep, and shoulder into it as well. So first you're starting with keeping the arms straight, hinging straight from the shoulder to pull the arms down, both in front and behind the head. And then starting to bend and extend the elbow. Sometimes you have to tense up a little bit more in the band. And the whole time really reaching out through the elbows, you're trying to decompress the shoulder girdle, maintain stability at the shoulders. And then again, you can do that both in front or behind, depending on your shoulder mobility. You want to be able to extend the shoulder without it being a challenge where you're arching the back or moving your head forward. And then next, moving into a bicep variation where really the focus is shoulders, but you're going to do a little bit of a bicep curl and really focusing on the lowering of the arms. And as you do that, trying to keep the upper back and the shoulders anchored back in place. So it should be a burn kind of in the upper back between the shoulder blades. And you're really trying to keep the shoulders up and back so that they don't roll forward as the arms lower. And so it's, even though it's a bicep exercise, it's meant to kind of challenge the shoulders and the upper back and some of the stability through the shoulder blades. Then you can just do a front forward lift and changing your hand position or a sideward raise. Again, focusing on the shoulder stability more than anything else. And so then this next one is more of a focus for the spine. So we're going to do a little bit of concentric thoracic spine extension. So you're using the roller and kind of first feeling out where your shoulders are and really trying to plug the arm bones in, stabilize the shoulder blades. And then from there, starting to try to extend in that upper back. I like to imagine like I'm encased in ice from the belly down and you're just trying to extend that upper back actively. So you're trying to use some of those muscles that run parallel to the spine to get the spine that, imagine like you got a spotlight in your chest, you're trying to shine it forward kind of idea. Then we're going to do an eccentric version for thoracic spine extension. And so first I'll usually roll, just loosen things up a little bit, but then you basically get into a crunch position, but instead of curling yourself into a ball, you're trying to lower yourself into the movement and trying to use your stomach for support so that it's supporting through the front of the spine, but really ultimately you're trying to extend that upper spine. You're trying to arch in that same place right behind the chest. And so this is you can do a bunch of variations. You can move your legs in different positions. I sometimes like to end just by getting into neutral spine, like propping myself up, using my glutes, using my back of the thighs, front of the thighs, as well as some of the core muscles. But yeah, it's a good warm up before doing a shoulder or arm workout. And so that helps us find range of motion within our thoracic spine, but also a little bit of awareness of how do we actively create that extension. And then this piece is about creating a little bit of range of motion within your shoulder itself. And you can kind of do that both through massage, like massaging shoulder blades like I'm doing here, or like chest flies and moving the shoulder through its range of motion. This is a big one for a lot of us. It's a nice stretch too. You can just do this as something to relax at the end of your day, just opening up the chest muscles. But really like moving your shoulder through its range of motion with a little bit of control, still trying to maintain neutral spine, make sure that this isn't just happening kind of in your neck or something, that you're not moving the rest of your spine to accommodate. But it's a good warm-up for a shoulder and arm workout, especially one that includes a bunch of changes in range of motion within your shoulder. And that's what we're going to try to accomplish in this circuit. And so the first exercise we're going to move into will be Arnold Presses. So the Arnold Press is named after the Governor, and it's really about creating a shoulder press, but also adding some rotation and range of motion of the shoulder within the movement. And so you're going to need some dumbbells. And so grabbing yourself some lightish dumbbells to start with, you can increase that as you go. And then really what we're going to do is, I'm doing this version from standing, but you could also do these from seated. So if you had a bench or something that could get you sitting upright, you could use that as a support system. You can also challenge yourself and do this in a bunch of variations where you're either kneeling or again, just in less advantageous positions, but I'm going to do it standing. And I'll do it with a little bit of a split stance, I believe. And so the forearm's starting in front of you and you're going to press up overhead. So you can see that my arms are moving out in front. The elbows end up in front of you. The dumbbells kind of end with your palms turned kind of facing towards you, like you're tipping those two tips towards each other. And then you're rotating the shoulders to help to press up as you do it. And ideally, as you do that, your spine stays vertical and you don't allow yourself to arch to be able to create a bigger range of motion. And then we're going to go into plank rear delt flies. So you could do this just as a rear delt fly, but I like to do these as a plank where you really have to try to stabilize the trunk and the hips. The legs are wide to try to help with that. But you're using the muscles in the back of the shoulder, the rear delt muscles, to try to elevate that arm, to bring it up, and also to lower it back down again. So trying to have some control on the descent so that it's not just lifting the arm up, but you're coming back with control. And that's, again, for the rear delts and a whole bunch of core muscles. And then the last exercise in this circuit is going to be rocket kickbacks. And so for rocket kickbacks, you're going to end up lying on your stomach on a bench is the easiest. And then you're really trying to lift with the whole back of your body. So the glutes, the hamstrings, the back of the spine, back of the shoulders is all like arching you, like lifting you up. And you're keeping your elbows stationary and then just extending and bending at the elbows. So that's both an arm exercise as well as shoulder exercise, just stabilizing yourself in place. And then you're going to take a break. So you're going to rest, hydrate, but also do some range of motion exercises. This is also a good opportunity. I'm taking about 45 seconds here to change your weights. You can write notes to yourself. So if you noticed anything in that little set, that you can kind of write notes about what you can change, what you can improve upon. This is really great to help you keep making gains in your own practice without necessarily needing a trainer there to help you. And so it's just gathering information and, again, start to move the shoulders to a little bit of range of motion, get blood flowing. And then you're going to get right back into it. So then you're going to start a second set, and you can do this, again, 3 to 5 sets is really the range that I typically work in, but it kind of depends on what are your needs. So like, what are your outcomes that you're looking to accomplish? Are you looking to gain strength? You may, if you're really looking for power and strength, you may go for higher weights and lower rep ranges with something like this. And you might even just do a superset or a compound set where you only do 2 of these exercises or 1 of these exercises. But if you're looking for maybe endurance and stamina and you want to create a little bit more stability, then you might go for longer circuits where you might have 10, 12, 15, even 20 reps with some of these movements. And you might take shorter breaks between and do maybe the higher rep, the set range with like 4 or 5 sets of this. And that just challenges your body with volume rather than necessarily the heavier weight. You're challenging yourself with doing more of it. And so, yeah, that's choosing something that fits what you're looking to achieve out of the practice is really important. There's the movements themselves, which can be adapted and they can change in a whole bunch of different ways. All of these movements, if you look at this video and you're like, no way I can do any of these things, there's ways to adapt all of these movements both down and up. And that goes to making the movement fit you. Sometimes that's hard to do on your own. Sometimes you might need some support or help to understand what are some of those basic building blocks and how can you learn those and build towards this. And if you want some of that help, I have online classes as well as I do private sessions and do coaching on my own. It's Ryan Murphy here with P3 Kinesiology. So please go to p3kinesiology.com and also like, subscribe, and share.